Okay, we had the new parts come through from the factory. We'll get them on the car ahead of FP1.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for the Italian Grand Prix at the Monza circuit, the legendary Monza circuit. And if you guys did miss the last episode at Spa, then do check it out by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen or following the link in the description down below. But as you can see, we have a brand new upgrade on the car for this race, one that I've been waiting for a long time, and it's heat dispersing wheel rims on the chassis. Essentially, first of all, the main thing, improving tyre wear. Second of all, as the name indicates, I'm kind of hoping it will improve my tyre overheating issues. Now, a little bit of a spoiler, but in Spa in the last race, we had a really good race. We had no real major dramas with the tyre temperatures, and I'm hoping for more of the same. This is a track where, unlike Spa, there's a lot more traction zones and the rear tyres will get used a lot more, but they get a chance to breathe on the straights. But there's definitely a lot more traction zones, which will definitely contribute to higher temperatures, and I think there's going to be a bit more of a concern going into this race weekend. You know, you've got traction out of all three chicanes, whether it be the first one at turns 1 and 2, also the one at 3 and 4, and then also the traction at the Lesmos, and also onto the back straight in Ascari, and also out Parabolica. It's very important around here. So this would be a real test to see if the upgrade does work for us, and if we do actually improve in that particular department. Also, in the meantime, you would have seen in the background the R&D chart. We are currently now the best team on the grid. We've actually overtaken Force India. So we're making decent progress, and we're once again at the top of the pile. And I think that's for the second or third time this season we've been the best team. It just keeps on changing all the time and going up and down. But all in all, I'm very happy, and the car is feeling great. Onto the circuit straight away in Friday practice. It felt great, I'd say. Not phenomenal. I've had it better a couple of times before in Austria, for example. Even Spa in the last race, the car felt really good. The reason I don't say phenomenal is because I was running a setup that's still a bit conservative, you know, due to the tyre temperature issue, because I'm still not confident that it's entirely resolved. So I'm kind of sacrificing performance and overall car positive handling to try and give myself better tyres for the race, but it still felt great, and I think I can do some damage in qualifying. But first of all, let's have an interview with Claire.
You really put a lot of effort into practice today. Are you testing new components? Is that pace in practice a good indicator of things to come? Appreciate your time.
And with that, the interview is done and dusted, and all in all, a pretty decent session. And we move into Saturday qualifying, and this was going to be a real, a tasty one, because in Spa in the last race, we had no upgrades on the car. The last time we got upgrades besides this race was actually a double engine upgrade with a major and a minor at Hungary 2 races ago. Obviously, we couldn't retest it at Hungary because it's not a track that's suited for that sort of upgrade. And at Spa, we didn't really get a chance to test it either because we had so much rain all weekend. So this is the first time in a completely dry setting we're going to really test out the engine and put it through its paces. It's a fairly new engine. We used it in Spa, so it's got very little mileage on it, and also I think we used it in Hungary as well. So it's a relatively new power unit. I'm hoping that it will be good enough to try and compete for the big positions and try and at least get ourselves back into Q3 and qualifying. That's something that I'm kind of hoping for, because lately we've just not been able to get into Q3. And straight away in Q1, as you can see here, on our first attempt of a lap around the circuit, the car on the super softs felt great, really hooked up nice. Obviously we're not going to be touching this tyre, possibly, or preferably should I say, in the race, but if we have to, we'll use it. But in qualifying wise, it was feeling phenomenal, and overall we set a pretty decent lap actually in Q1, and we go P7, a really good position there, and a rare Q1 performance. We're actually out qualified Daniel Ricciardo, my teammate, which is very rare indeed, because in Q1 I seemed to struggle for pace, and then we went into Q2 on the soft compound tyres. First of all, the slower of the 3. I was 6/10 down through sector 2 up until this point, but then through the final sector I lost about 7/10, which I have no explanation for. I just lost the time, and I was looking very good there to actually qualify on the softs for the first time ever. Either way, like I mentioned, we lost about 7/10 in the final sector, so we have to go again on the super softs. And straight away through turns 1 and 2, you can see here really attacking the curbing, a little bit too deep into turn 1, and actually losing the back end slightly, but we're still up on our previous best as we now go through the right hander of turn 3 for Curva Grande, and you're looking for the 100 metre board for the break point down into turn 4 and 5. The left right chicane combination here, really attack that first curb. You really want to make sure you get the car on the inside of the sausage curb, and then also the second of the right, you want to go over the bump and make sure you don't lose the back end on traction. Through the Lesmos, little trick here, second Lesmo especially, you want to attack the inside curb. It doesn't seem right, it doesn't make sense, but you want to really attack that inside green curb, because that's going to give you the maximum speed through the corner. I found that one out literally a minute before qualifying. As we now go into Ascari, carrying speed through this entire section here, and it's all about patience and momentum as we go on to the back straight. And we're currently looking really good here, about 7/10 up on our previous best, and we're currently flying on these super soft compound tyres. As the timer is now finished, we go through the final corner into Parabolica, 5th gear action, up the gears on the exit of the corner. Patience required, you know, traction very, very important around this circuit, and also through the final corner. We got up to the line though, and it's a decent lap, and it's actually a Q3 appearance as we go P9, and overall very, very happy with that one. And it's a rare Q3 for us, and a Q3 around a power circuit, which is also very, very interesting. So very happy with that one, and we're actually comfortably through alongside Daniel Ricciardo there, and then there's quite a bit of a gap to Bottas and Co in front of us. But in Q3 we went out on 2 runs, our first of which was on a fresh set of super softs, as is our second one. But on our first one we was compromised, and it was ruined straight away by my own teammate Daniel Ricciardo, who yeah, I've got no comment, you can see it for yourself. Pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you, and hopefully I'll be having some words with Christian Horner after that one. But we now move on to our last lap of the session, and no reference time, this one is all or nothing. So straight away, here we go, turn 1, 100-meter board. Just before, you want to break down the 3rd gear, go too hot on the brakes. You want to preferably attack the inside curve of turn 1 a lot more. Like, you want to get pretty much all of your car over the curb to really maximise time through there, and I didn't really do that. I got a little bit too late on the brakes. Still though, not too shabby as we go down to turn 4. Once again, we're half a second down as we broke the 100-meter board, attack the inside curb, and then attack the next one at turn 5. We lose the back end a little bit there. Look, I get once again losing a little bit of time as we now go into the Lesmos. To be fair, Lesmo 1 absolutely perfect, getting beautiful traction as we now go into Lesmo 2, attacking the inside curb there as I mentioned before, and we get on the power on the exit, open up the DRS as we go on to the back straight. And it's been a very strong second sector besides that little mistake on traction out of turn 5, and we've not lost that much time as we now go into Ascari, once again attacking the curbs here and keeping it nice and tight through the right to open up the left and open up the exit onto this last straight as we look for the 50-meter board for the Parabolica. You want to break down to 5th gear, so wait for your brake zone, be cautious, and then attack the inside apex, really turn in aggressively because the corner just opens up naturally for you on the exit. We keep a very tight line. I actually lost the back end a little bit and lost a bit of momentum, so all in all, not a great lap. We go P2, which was shocking at the time, and I could not believe it. I let go my answer just after this because I found out that the AI didn't actually really set a decent lap. Everyone that did good laps in Q2, no one really managed to match it in Q3. I don't know if the temperature dropped, but I'm not complaining. It's a front row for us, but all in all, I definitely left about 2-3 tenths on the table with a couple of mistakes on that lap. All in all, a front row start for us around Monza, which is shocking, so hopefully we can convert into decent points.
It's race day here in Italy once again. Monza, home to so many records. The smallest winning margin, for example. Do you remember in 1971, Peter Gethard beat Ronnie Peterson to the line by 1/100th of a second. There were 40 overtakes for the lead alone in 1965, and Kimi Räikkönen clocked a record top speed of 230 miles per hour here, just over a decade ago. So there's a lot to live up to then for all of our drivers today. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Martinez completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Vettel, Esteban Ocon, and Gasly, Raikkonen, Hamilton, Hülkenberg, and Charles Leclerc. Stroll, Sainz, Kevin Magnussen, and Sirotkin, Grosjean, Ericsson, Daniel Ricciardo, and Stoffel van Dorn. Hartley and Fernando Alonso starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, here we are then on the grid for the Italian Grand Prix. Second place, a front row start. Now, I consider myself very lucky, like I mentioned before, because of the AI. I don't think they really perform to their highest level, most of them. I was expecting, you know, very quick lap times a la Bottas, and no one really delivered. Everyone seemed to struggle to put a lap together in Q3, and I managed to deliver. Even my lap wasn't perfect, but there was definitely about, I reckon, about a tenth and a half, 2 tenths left on the table. So I definitely could have gone better. That's why I'm not too disappointed with second place, in the sense that it doesn't feel completely undeserved, because I know I left some time on the table myself. But the front row, the task is simple, really. I want to try and have first place into turn 1. I need to get a good start off the line. We're on the same tyres as Bottas and the fastest tyres, so that should give us the best chance. If I time the launch after the 5 red lights perfectly and get past him, if we can take the lead, I reckon I can break him and I can break the slipstream. The rule of thumb around this circuit is to avoid having a massive slipstream battle, and getting that 1 second gap is critical. So I know what I have to do, and I think I can do it on the first lap. I just need to get past Bottas into turn 1. After that, I think Bottas might be a little bit slow, might get caught up in some battles behind, and that'll be my chance to pull away. It might be a very boring race and a very straightforward race for the viewer, but that's exactly what I'm hoping for, really. I need a race win, because this could be my last chance at trying to go for the championship. I'm about 60 points behind and 30 points behind second place, so I need a win here today to try and give myself the best chance going into the second half of the season and the non-European races and the flyaways. Now, in terms of the strategy today, we're going to start on the supers and go into the mediums. A one-stop strategy. I'm going to leave it open to potential soft tyres at the end. We'll see how the new tyre upgrade plays into effect this race, because you never know, it might help me out. Also, tyre overheating is going to be an issue, which I'm hoping won't be that bad thanks to the new upgrade we've got. And like I said, it's a bit of an experiment to see how the car performs. In practice, the race strategy went well, the tyres weren't getting that hot, so I'm hoping for more of the same here today. But let's see how it goes, and fingers crossed we can have a good race. But with that being said, it's time for the last European race on the calendar, and it is time for the Italian Grand Prix. Right, here we go then. It's critical to react to the 5 red lights fast, getting the revs up. And lights out, and away we go. And it's a great start for the line. One of my better starts. Bottas doesn't get a great one. And to be fair, we've all been swirled up into the pack here. Into turn 1, double lock up. I've got to be careful, I run wide. Into turn 2 now, over the curbs. Very tricky. Side by side. Apparently I've got an illegal overtake on Sebastian Vettel here, so I'm going to let him just take the inside line. There we go. And now I can try and get back in the slipstream and go for the re-overtake. Vettel goes defensive. I want to go up the inside though anyway and make the move. Aggressive. And we retake 4th place, but disappointing really. I got a great launch. Maybe me and Bottas both got poor starts, but we know how fast the Force Indy's and the Ferraris are. But I generally think I actually got a pretty damn good start. I reacted fast to the 5 red lights, and it worked out pretty damn good for me. So disappointed really. For once I got a good start when it mattered the most, but the Force Indy's and the Ferraris got an even better one, and their power units and straight line speed kind of done the talking for them. So disappointing, but it's not all over. We're P4. I reckon we can keep pace with the front 3, but we have to get into the slipstream. That's important, and also we need to stay ahead of Gasly and not allow the Toro Rosso to get in my slipstream. And there you go, Ocon's made the move on Bottas now for second place. Bottas shouldn't have the pace. I mean, that Mercedes isn't the car it once was. They're the 5th best car and they're quite a way off the top cars. But Bottas, to be fair to his credit, he's not giving up. He's going back around the outside of Ocon here. And they're side by side as we go into the Lesmos. I wonder if we can get something out of this. They're still side by side here. That's going to suit me. I need to lap for a move through Lesmo 2. Ocon's a bit slow on the exit. We're going to be all over the back of him here. ERS in overtake and Rich Mix engaged. Bottas is the one that's going to get absolutely wrecked here on the straight. I'm going to leave it in Rich Mix for now. As Ocon runs a bit deep, we have to get on the brakes. This is allowing Gasly to catch up. And more importantly, this is allowing Perez to pull away. So we can't let this happen. Gasly now is on the back of me as well also. So this is far from ideal as we now go into Parabolica. Bottas looking for the move on Ocon up the inside. He does get it done, to be fair. And they both go a little bit slow on the exit. A little bit of contact there maybe. And that lets me slip through and get on the inside. There we go, second place. Gasly with the fastest lap. Here comes Pierre Gasly. He's looking for the space. No way through though. 3 wide as we race down to turn 1. I'm hot on the brakes, but I'm going to pull it down just about for the corner. I missed my apex, but we get it slowed down. And there we go. We're just ahead. Now we've got to try and pull away and break away from the slipstream of this battle. Ocon and Bottas are flying up to the back of me, and it's Gasly actually in the Toro Rosso who goes around the outside. I'm going to hold the inside line though and stay firm on my position. But Gasly all over the back of me. Now he's going for the outside into the Lesmos in the Toro Rosso here. Fair play for trying it, but no grip out there, son. We need to try and get ahead now. DRS is enabled, so we're going to be severely on the back foot here. Gasly coming at me once again. Look at that thing go. Jeez, man. That Toro Rosso is ridiculous. We're just going to try and follow Pierre. I'm going to try and get the DRS on the home straight and try and leapfrog him, basically. And that way he shouldn't have DRS until the back straight. So that's going to be my chance. We need to stay in the slipstream here. Here comes Ocon, though. Jeez, man. These guys have so much top-end speed. They, like, really max out at a ridiculous speed. We just hold on around the outside, though. And now we can attack Pierre Gasly here. Onto the home straight. Overtake ERS. And now DRS engaged. Rich mix as well. Look at the speed, 355, and we get the job done. We're going to cover off the inside, take a bit of an early apex. Now focus on our exit here. Gasly and Ocon going side by side. This is what I need. This is my chance to pull away. I need those two guys to scrap it out, so that way I can try and pull away. They're still very close to me here, and within DRS of course, but let's see if I can just get a run through the chicane here. There we go, that's perfect. That's going to buy me the time that I need. Ocon and Gasly side by side through the chicane. Ocon's got ahead of him, I think, but they've critically lost a hell of a lot of time, and I've now broken the slipstream, which is what I needed. So we're into second place, back where we started. We've avoided the constant battling, and we've now got ourselves some clean air. Now I've got to keep pushing and not let them basically relay each other with DRS and carry ridiculous straight line speed to get back into my DRS. So I have to keep pushing here and not give up and not let it go. There we go, fast lap of the Grand Prix from me, a 120.3. Perez isn't miles away, we can still race him, but we're going to have to manage everything and see how the race goes. Also, tyre temperatures are pretty damn good, nothing above 100, which is perfect. Okay, and that last lap the gap came down 3 tenths to Sergio Perez without me really running extremely high engine modes, so let's keep this going. At the moment, myself and Perez are very consistent in pace. The gap is floating around 4 seconds, 4.2 at the moment. I've now got back into ERS use, and now I'm saving fuel. Well, I'll say saving, I'm not using any more than what I currently have basically, but it's looking under control. I mean, I'd take a second place because we're going to gain a lot of points on Vettel, which is what we came here for, but I'd love to get that W, I really would. Tyre looks okay, rears are a little bit more cooked. Tyre temperature wise, the rears are starting to slowly but surely ascend into the hundreds, but for now they're still okay just about. Any hotter, we're going to have a little bit of a problem here. So the other thing I'm looking at, if you look at the minimap here, look at all those cars in the back straight. I'm curious to see where Perez comes in this lap, if he comes in this lap, in amongst that train. When he comes out after he stopped, he's going to feed out right in the middle of that. So I'm going to start for one more after this. I want to see where Perez feeds out, because that's going to be my chance to close the gap to the Mexican. Magnussen out of the race there in the Haas, he's out. First retirement of the Grand Prix. No safety car VSC. Perez comes in, so I'm going to try and monitor this. Let's see what happens. I need some of those cars in that pack there to stay out for a couple more laps and maybe hold Perez up for a little bit. Well, I'm going to stay out for one more lap. I'm going to push super hard this time around. Perez has come out. You can see on the right hand side there behind that Renault and that little bit of traffic. So this is an important lap for me now, a very important lap. Right, into the Parabolica then. Here we go. Perez is P3, 18 seconds behind. I'm not going to jump him, but I've also changed my strategy. I'm going to go into the softs. I'm going to risk it and go into the soft compound tyres. Hopefully it pays off, because I've done 2 extra laps than what I should have done on the supers, plus a qualifying lap. So I reckon I can get those softs to the end. But here we go. It's a critical time in this race. 3.6, not a great start, but it will do for now. Perez is going to go by. The question is, are we still in second place? Has Gasly, who came in on lap 9, has he undercut me? I guess we'll find out very shortly. Up to speed, and there comes Pierre, and no, he has not. We've stayed in second place. It's important though to keep the gap above a second, otherwise I'm going to get drawn into that battle. So let's try and get up to speed fast in these tyres. But overall, it's worked out okay. Now, can we catch Perez? Is it possible? It's going to be a challenge and a half around a track that is built for the Force India, but I'm going to try and give it a go. Purple final sector, Gasly 1.2 behind. We've done enough. He's not in my DRS, so let's focus on Perez. Well, looks like we're not going to budge really from second place. My lap times are consistent, and I'm a little bit faster every single lap than Perez, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And Gasly, to be fair, is going to be a threat, I think. He's got some very strong pace. I've actually now found some pace, and also the AI seems to have dropped off now. However, I'm having to save ERS. I can't really go full out attack on Perez at the moment. He is catching a McLaren, so I'm kind of banking on that. He might just cost him a little bit of time. Right, 10 laps to go. Gap is 3.6. It's come down about 2 seconds since I've been in this time. We're actually still pulling away from Gasly a little bit, so it might not be over just yet, but I'm still going to need a bit of a miracle, and also these tyres to hold up at this current rate. Oh wow, Perez at 20.3, fast up at the Grand Prix. He's found that out of nowhere. I think he overtook that McLaren perfectly on the back straight with DRS. We've got a massive overspeed, which probably explains why, but he definitely found a little bit of pace that lap, as did Pierre Gasly as well. We might start to be going to the back foot now. Keep on going though, keep on chipping away. Hopefully I can get that McLaren on the straight and pick up some DRS, that'd be very nice. Tyre wear still looking good, tyre temperatures as well. Rears are on 25 in terms of tyre wear, and they're not going above 100, just about on the rears, actually 98 there on the rear left, just dropping down slightly. So we've got it nicely managed, and I've found a sweet spot in my pace. The question is, can I do anything? The fastest final sector, but Perez is still pulling away, gap up to 4.7 now, and he's really giving it some now. Looks like we're going to catch this McLaren beautifully, and hopefully nab some DRS. Stoffel Van Dorn through the final corner. Deep on the brakes on purpose to try and close that gap. Do we get DRS? Yes, we do. And that's the last of the rich mix. Try and get the overspeed if we can. Van Dorn, pull over to one side, mate. Thank you. Now brake early, please. No, maybe not. I was asking too much from the AI, wasn't it? Got blocked off just like Ricardo in qualifying. There we go. Right. Probably still gain time and all of that, thanks to the massive slipstream I got, but Perez is still going strong. He's found some pace. There's the tyre situation, and there we have the tyre temperatures. Everything under control at the moment, and I think I'm just going to settle for the second place now. Perez has found some rocket ship pace from somewhere, which I do not know where that's from. So we're just going to try and focus on keeping our tyres in the sweet spot and not letting them fade away, and that way we can hold on to second place compared to Gasly. So let's do that. Car's working great around this circuit, and the tyre upgrade's working phenomenal. We'll confirm it though if that is true at the next race in Singapore, but for now it definitely seems to be doing the job. Gasly just starting to turn the screw a little bit. He's 1.8 behind. Reason being is also because I'm not running hot lap anymore. I'm trying to save a little bit of ERS because I'm quite close to the danger zone, and I want to have a little bit just to defend from Gasly if I need it. So I've been running in medium and also low through sector 2 to try and save some ERS if Gasly does attack me in the last 1 or 2 laps. Speaking of which, 2 laps to go. I think we'll be okay though. I don't think there's going to be much of a threat. Right, we've saved up some battery. Gasly is actually within range. Look at that, he's actually catching me from way back there. He's getting a toe somehow. So we're going to go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix, and Gasly will have DRS, so we're going to have to defend. Onto the home straight, overtake, ERS engaged. Last lap of the Grand Prix. Look at that Toro Rosso just gain yards. It's incredible. We should be okay to turn 1 though. Out of turn 1. That's going to be another threat. On the power, focus on our exit. Not too bad, but Gasly's still right there. He's gaining. He's gaining. Is he gaining enough? I don't think he is. We can stay in front for a little bit longer here. We've had a great exit onto the back straight, but Gasly is coming at me here. He's attacking me on the back straight. We're going to have to go defensive into Ascari side by side, but we just edge in front, and that is it. Job done. Held the inside line. Gasly couldn't quite go around the outside of me. I was more committed to the brake zone than he was, and we've held on. So good defensive driving, good race management. Perez wins at Monza, and we are going to come through the final corner for a thoroughly well deserved, in my opinion, and a fantastic second place, and 2 second place finishes in a row at Spa and Monza. Potential to both, they could have been first places. In Spa we've got a qualifying right, and also here again, but all in all a great weekend.
Tell me, Ant, what was the key to this success?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and
and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
It's time to present the top drivers with their trophies for today's Grand Prix. And there are a lot of people in the paddock very happy with this result. It's Force India on the top step.
Right, so looking at the final race results, Perez wins at Monza. We come home in second ahead of Pierre Gasly running off the podium, and Esteban Ocon P4 ahead of championship leader Sebastian Vettel, who's in P5. Then we have Valtteri Bottas in 6th, Charles Leclerc in a great 7th place for him in the Sauber ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and Daniel Ricciardo, my teammate, P9 after starting from 17th on the grid. Good recovery there from my teammate, and finally Carlos Sainz running out the top 10. Brendan Hartley there, down in P13, and also Lewis Hamilton P17 in the other Mercedes. In terms of the driver standings though, Vettel still leads by 16 points over Sergio Perez. Perez cutting that gap down just like last season really, and we are currently in 3rd place, 53 points adrift, quite a way away from Sebastian. But in the last 2 races we've done a pretty good job, 2 second places after a really poor Hungarian Grand Prix. The question is, we go back to a similar race like Hungary in the form of Singapore next. Can we perform around that street circuit? We will have to find out very soon. In terms of the constructors though, we dropped down to 3rd place as Force India re-overtake us as Ocon and Perez scored more points than myself and Ricciardo here today. But not all is lost, as like I mentioned, we go to Singapore next, and if I don't perform, I'm sure Ricciardo certainly will. But now let's move into the laptop and get some upgrades on the car for the night race.
You must be happy with the result today. It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it? It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? Appreciate your time.
Right, well after 2 decent races in Spa and also Monza, we've actually boosted up our value in the contract in the bottom right. We've also hit our team goal of hitting 8 practice programs targets, which has given us an extra 600 R&D points. So we have 2,200 points to spend, and we have a major aero upgrade in the works for Singapore for the next race. Now we're going to sort of digest this and look in detail. Now first of all, aero. With the upgrade that arrives in the next race, we should become the best car in the aero department, so that's good. In terms of the chassis, we are already the best team by quite a way. So realistically, you have to look at the power unit. We're the 3rd best team there, so you could argue we need some, some work on the car. Now we've got an ultimate upgrade here, which can only take 3 weeks to arrive, which is pretty insane. 3 weeks on an ultimate one. The team have been working hard, and the upgrades will come thick and fast. Now we have other options in the form of fuel consumption here, which is also good to know, and also an engine power one for the exhaust. Now there's a lot of different options here on the table in terms of what I prefer, and I'm tempted to get this ultimate one. I really am, because it's only 3 weeks. We still have a lot of races to go, and that would really help us out in the final part of the season. So you know what? I'm going to go for the ultimate, and that should arrive in Japan, fingers crossed. And with that, look at the massive step forward we're taking in performance here. If those upgrades arrive, it's going to really push us forward. And to be fair, I'm starting to feel comfortable with the car now. The last 2 races I feel really, really good, and especially that race, the tyre temperatures were under control, a real turning point. The last 2 races we've had 0 issues with tyre overheating, and that for me is a big bonus. So I'm looking forward to Singapore, and fingers crossed we can try and find some pace and not have a bit of a Hungary-like performance. But with that being said, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode of Career Mode. If you have, then drop a like on the video. Also do get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content and turn on notifications to not miss a single video from me. Finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you for watching guys, and I'll see you in my next episode very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.